here and diddle around, what am I gonna have? Nothing. Okay? And all this shit, like, what does it matter? What does it matter? It just passes. Yo, if I disappear, like, who cares? Nobody cares, man. Seriously. Yo, that's okay. That's life, okay? It just passes. It just fucking passes.
Our lives are filled with endless noise, consuming and filling every second by distracting ourselves. We don't allow ourselves to sit with our thoughts for more than a minute. It has gotten so bad that people are scared to be alone without a screen, without music or a podcast, even white noise as they sleep to drown out negative feelings and thoughts. And the only time that you have to be alone with yourself. Sound of Metal is an incredibly powerful movie because it shows us the importance of letting go of dangerous attachments, along with the power of stillness. I want to break down the message of this movie in order to better understand it. I also want to show you the amazing tools that this movie gives us. Sound of Metal is directed by Darius Martyr. It shows Ruben, who's played by Riz Ahmed. Riz Ahmed has one of the best performances I've ever seen, and it blows me away every time I watch it. But Ruben is a recovering addict that travels around living in a van with his girlfriend. He lives a frugal life playing metal music with his girlfriend, who both depend on each other. As Ruben is playing the drums, he loses his hearing. Ruben spirals, and it takes a toll on his mental health. Music is the only thing they have sustaining them, and they can't play it with Ruben being deaf. They decide to separate so that Ruben can go live in a deaf community in order to get better and avoid using again. This is where he meets Joe, who runs a place and tries to guide Ruben to the right places throughout the film. This is where I would like to focus. Ruben has been clean 4 years now, but there's still a lot of healing that needs to be done. Addiction is spread a lot farther than you realize, even in daily life when we're attached to so many things we don't think are addictions. If we look and try to define this, these simple things are something that we couldn't live without even if we tried. Ruben fights his addiction by replacing it with a very strict and active mindset. It seems positive at first. We see him eating healthy, exercising, waking up early, always finding something to do. This is what he has replaced his addictive habit with. It's not a harmful habit. It can be helpful, but it is still a replacement for addiction instead of removing those tendencies altogether. This becomes a problem when Joe finds Ruben early in the morning trying to fix the roof. He's finding any way to keep his mind and body busy. Joe is frustrated by this and tells Ruben nothing around here needs fixing. This is also referencing the desire that Ruben has to get implants for his ears. Joe and the community believe that being deaf isn't something that you should try to fix. He gives Ruben some homework. He says he has to sit in an empty room in the morning, right after waking up, with just a pen and paper. His only task is to do nothing, and if he can't do nothing, he should write until he can sit again. Joe tells Ruben he will be doing the same thing every morning as well. And this shows us how similar these two characters are. They've been through the same things. We can see how Joe knows that this will help Ruben because we can infer that he's been through the same kind of problems. This doesn't seem like a very difficult task, but for Ruben it's torture at first. I've seen this kind of funny, kind of sad, but tells us a lot about Ruben. Is the first time that he does this. He gets coffee and a donut from the kitchen that Joe laid out for him. He goes to sit in the room. His frustration builds, and he smashes the donut with his fist. After doing that, he pushes it back together, trying to fix it, just to smash it to pieces again. We see how his brain works in this action. He doesn't let himself sit in that silence, so he breaks something in order to try to put it back together in a self-destructive pattern. It shows the internal conflict he's going through, trying to hold back the urge to let emotions go and give into addiction. Eventually he warms up to this, and we see it become easier for him to sit while he becomes more at peace in the other parts of his life. He connects more with the people around him as well. This is just such great advice for anyone. This isn't just for addicts, but a mental state most people are in. As a society, we have attached attention to so many different things. It makes it hard to let go. As soon as I and most other people wake up, we are immediately on our phones. This is all about mindfulness, which is the reason that he gave him the option to write. Not draw, but to write. Writing is being mindful any way you do it, even if it's a big mess. It tells you something about yourself, not letting any emotion get away or distracted from. I think this is a cause of a lot of Ruben's anger. He's angry at himself. He feels a lot of guilt along with helplessness. He tries to control things that he's attached to, things that he can't control. It builds up emotion that he never allows himself to heal through. Most of us suffer from at least some of what he's going through. We have thoughts and internal shadow that we can't face. There are parts of ourselves that we don't like or wish weren't there, but they are, and we can't change that. Sitting in silence and allowing yourself to be present removes the weight that we put on ourselves. Once you get through the discomfort, there's just stillness and presence that is always void of guilt, regret, depression. That is all in the past, whereas you are just here in the moment. It's void of anxiety, fear, worry. That all lies in the future that doesn't exist now. It's just you and your perspective of 5 senses. Ruben does a lot of healing, but in fear of losing his girlfriend and this life that he wants. Along with his hearing, he sells everything in order to get the hearing implants. This leads us to the most memorable scene in the movie, where he sits down with Joe, tells him what he's done. Ruben tells him that he needs to save his own life, that there's nothing for him there, that if he disappears, no one will care. What Joe says here puts a lot into perspective. He is calm and collected, and he asks if Ruben has experienced any moments of stillness sitting alone all these mornings. Ruben is fearful of the future in losing attachments to his girlfriend, to his hearing, to music. Joe tells him that yes, the world is always moving, it's a cruel place, but that stillness, that is the kingdom of God. That place will never abandon you. It is such a powerful scene and performance for both of them. Anything that Ruben might try to hold on to will always disappoint him and be unpredictable. He places his happiness and well-being on these things while not being able to control them. That place of stillness will always be there to count on. It will always be there for your well-being to depend on. Ruben is reaching for happiness in a future outcome that doesn't contain any more happiness than he has right now. That is the truth of every life. Ruben gets the implants, and they are nothing like what his hearing was before. It's a mess of jumbled electronic noises, and he can barely make out sounds. He goes back to his girlfriend to find that she has changed for the better without him. He realizes that he isn't what she needs anymore, and that their codependency before wasn't healthy. He lets her go. He doesn't have anything in his name. He has no place to stay, no partner anymore. And all this electronic and jumbled background noise from his implants around him on the street. So he decides to turn them off. He finally surrenders to the silence at the end of the movie. He lets go of this imaginary grasp he has on all of these things. He looks at his surroundings and finds stillness and peace. Something that was there waiting for him all this time. Something that will always be there for him. Something that will always be there for you.